we have the Honourable Mick de Brenny, Minister for Housing and Public Works, and the Minister for Sport with us this morning. Thank you so much, Minister, and welcome.
Well, thank you very much for the introduction. Can I also join with Mayor Luke Smith in acknowledging the traditional owners of the land in which we meet today and pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging. And also, of course, congratulate the New Knuckle dancers. They are a fantastic export from this city. To all of the leaders of numerous councils that are here today, to my local councillors, it's wonderful to see all of you. To my good friend Linus Power, the member for Logan, lovely to see you. To Oscar and Kim, looking forward to meeting you, and thank you for travelling to what is the heart of Logan. I just want to talk about Barcelona for a moment, and you're going to hear from Kim later on. So I've been doing a bit of research in the lead up to today's event, and of course everything that I read said that Barcelona is the global centre of smart cities. So it's great to have him here. So in both practice and as a place where people come together to forge new ideas about an urban future. And I think that's what the next couple of days is all about here at this event, is about forging a new way forward for an urban future for Logan. And I just want to say to Mayor Smith, thank you for inviting me and giving me the opportunity to speak here today, and let you know that if you do want to lead a delegation to the Smart Cities Expo later this year, I'm very open to receiving an invitation and joining you on that trip. Just don't hurt yourself while you're there. So as I said, we're here in the heart of Logan in Springwood, the community that I'm honoured to represent as a local member. And I want to start by just a moment looking back at some of our very recent history and pay tribute to all of those people of this great community who pulled together to support each other during the recent flood event. We had our emergency services volunteers, our wonderful emergency services personnel, our local community organisations, our sporting clubs, the people here in the front row rolled up their sleeves. Everybody pulled together to help each other out. It was quite a remarkable scene. Just on Sunday, on Mother's Day, in fact, I was down at the Springwood Sharks Little Athletics Club. Some of you will know it runs out of the oval there down at Meadowbrook. Now, their facilities went completely underwater, as they often do, to the extent that they actually had large fish. Not sure what species they were. I'd never seen these sort of fish before, but they were wedged halfway up the fence of the discus cage. So you can just imagine how deep that flood was, and how extraordinary a scene it was when the club members returned to check on their facilities. Now, it wasn't just the people at Springwood Sharks, but it was club members right across the state of Queensland and those flood-affected areas that worked hard to get those sorts of elements of our community up and running again. And you know what? They're up and running right across the state, and it's a real sign of strength of this community. That's why we were happy to chip in with a $5,000 grant to numerous clubs, around 63 in fact, just to help them get cleaned up. But it's also a great example of how our cities come together and form those amazing connections. It's part of why we upped the grants in our next round of sports infrastructure grants that we partner with Logan City Council on. We upped them by 50% in terms of each grant and the overall quantum for disaster-affected areas. So that means Logan, so that they can build the next generation of smart infrastructure for sporting clubs. Now, as the Minister for Public Works, people often ask me about 1 William Street. This is the new government building, a little bit controversial for those of you who follow Queensland politics. And of course, I'm somewhat guarded in my response, but I've been thinking about how to answer the question of, how's it going working out of 1 William Street? And I've arrived at a conclusion is that fundamentally our cities are not about buildings at all. What they are about is about people. And that's why I believe the future in Logan is extraordinarily bright. And it's bright because of the people that live here, it's because of the people that work here, and the people that play in the buildings that make up our cities. Now, cities themselves are our greatest technological achievement as a humanity. They are at the heart of our economic productivity and, of course, of our social advancement. My view is that if we're going to unleash innovation, the way that we structure our cities into the future is going to be absolutely key to that. And the role of technology is going to be at the forefront of that investment. So today, in 2017, we're in a truly amazing place. Look, if we all reach into our pockets and pull out these things, we can pretty much recall within a matter of seconds any element of the history of human existence within tenths of a second. In the next few years, the entire world will become connected by the internet. Apparently not Shayla Park though. Thank you, Malcolm Turnbull. But that's an achievement. No, we'll get there. That's an achievement worth noting, I think. In an instant, every member of humanity will be able to connect with each other right across the globe. And the breadth of technology available to us can do amazing things. And whilst we haven't quite achieved the vision that was imagined by Luke and his friends back in the school library, we do have robots performing surgery. You can fabricate just about anything at home on your 3D printer. Most of the schools here have access to 3D printers where they're already doing this. CRISPR is allowing people to gene sequence in their own homes. That is a remarkable achievement, but this emerging technology has a paradox. The early view was that these things would make cities less important, that we could communicate from anywhere. You know, you wouldn't need to come into work, you could work from home. But I want to put this idea out there that the opposite has been true as a result of these things. The more that these things have developed and the better our technology has got, the more we as a society have thirsted for contact with one another. And it's those cities that we create is where that contact needs to happen. It's where we collaborate. It's where people from disparate fields come together, just like the people here in this room today, to meet, to merge ideas. And it's the merging of those ideas that will truly unleash creativity and innovation. Now, for centuries, the benefit of urban agglomeration used to be all about industry supply chains, and that's still true. You only need to look out the window at Slacks Creek now. Similar firms would co-locate for efficiencies in material, for transport and labour. But now we're moving to very much a knowledge and a service-based economy. We know that. Cities are driving our productivity and for completely different reasons. So successful cities, I think, in the 21st century have an agglomeration instead, not of supply chains, of products or labour, but they have an agglomeration of knowledge. Efficient cities are ones which foster connection, where people can meet, where they can share ideas face to face, and they can take those ideas to market. Smart cities are the ultimate start-up places. Smart, productive cities are those where there is a plan to ensure that people can connect with one another and agglomerate their knowledge and truly create. Let's talk for a minute, though, about how that looks here in a local context in this wonderful city of Logan. As the Minister of Housing, I'm acutely aware of the role the city has in driving our future productivity as our economy transitions, as I said, into a knowledge and service-based economy. Now, the famed American Labor leader George Meany was said to say, and I quote, "You can't have a successful economy based on everybody doing everybody else's laundry." The equivalent in the 21st century would be that you can't have a successful economy based on everybody driving everybody else around, or for that matter, ourselves driving ourselves around. For a city to be resilient, for a city to build a solid base for prosperity and economic growth, we need an environment that fosters people to build and sustain and start small businesses. And I know this is something that the Mayor is absolutely focused on. I know it's something that my colleague, the Minister for Small Business, Leanne Enoch, who will be speaking here this afternoon, is also focused on. We need to be able to attract the best and brightest from around the globe here to this city and create those spaces where they can connect so that they can connect and achieve. In a sense, smart cities are as much about the shape and amenity of our cities as they are about the technology. So what does it look like here in Logan from my perspective? Look, we've got some great natural advantages here. Advantages that more and more people are starting to become aware of. The lifestyle elements are second to none. They're starting to receive much wider recognition, I think. You only need to go a few hundred metres up the road and go to a place that many of us love up in Daisy Hill Forest. You'll see walkers, runners, mountain bikers all enjoying a remarkable urban forest right on our doorstep. It's quite unique. And all of them, almost all of them, are connecting with one another on Strava. We also have a solid base of infrastructure that can support innovation. We've got the great Griffith University campus just a couple of kilometres down the road, a campus that is strongly linked with the Logan community, very strongly linked with the community through the work that it does, especially on our nation-leading Logan Together program that we're very proud of. Griffith is linked directly through its health and nursing courses to the hospital, one of the major health centres south of Brisbane. And of course, we've got great proximity. Look at those of you who've travelled from either Brisbane or the Gold Coast will know that we're perfectly positioned between those two major centres. And we should never discount the great climate that we have here in southeast Queensland. You know, as Harvard economist Ed Glazer pointed out, winter temperatures in America and Europe are a significant factor when it comes to population growth for a city. My hunch is that similar effects have contributed to the growth of southeast Queensland over the last 2 decades. Where else would you want to go and live? We've got an amazing climate. And my sense is that our city has well and truly lost its old tag. Right? It's an area that you used to drive through, that people would drive through without paying attention. Outsiders are well and truly discovered that the thing that locals like us have known for a long time. To be fair though, we have had our historical challenges here, and I'll spend a moment talking about those. Unfortunately, Logan wasn't designed as a smart city. In fact, to a large extent, Logan wasn't designed at all, and this is one of our challenges. And my Department of Housing and Public Works, got a lot to answer for in that regard. Today, we would have done things vastly differently to what we did 40 years ago. In the post-war years, the Housing Commission, which is largely responsible for the emergence of residential areas here, was challenged with expanding affordable rental housing for working Queenslanders. The population of this state was absolutely booming. Right? We had housing construction in the doldrums since the Great Depression, and so government decided to take decisive action, and they decided to do it here in Logan. And so what did we do? We built and we built and we built. So today, I currently manage a portfolio of over 5,000 homes here in Logan. And many of you are familiar with these homes. You can walk through entire streets, and there's a map of them up there, and the red shows where they are. You can walk entire blocks where every single home is owned by the Department of Housing and Public Works. And you know what? You'll be familiar with them because they all look the same in each block, all reaching the end of their lifespans, 30, 40, or some even 50 years old. And so while public housing in the post-war era was a leg up for working families to have economic security, the nature of those homes has changed over time. We now have a highly targeted public housing system that really only caters for the most vulnerable citizens amongst us. The families, the working families, those post-war working families have been replaced by those on the borderline of homelessness, and people really struggling with things like mental illness, long-term unemployment, with a disability or seniors with a very low fixed income. Unfortunately now, public housing is the ultimate safety net, and it's often too high a net for people to climb out of into any other sort of housing. And the reality is that I'm challenged with is that to date we have inappropriate housing which is in inappropriate places, and unfortunately it's entrenched disadvantage. But the really important message that I want to leave with you today is this: that is all about to change. And it's thanks to our collaboration between the state government, the Logan City Council, and our business leaders and innovators, people here in this room. Thanks to all of you, it's going to happen extraordinarily quickly. So today we're here to discuss innovation. Let me talk about how we've decided to use the opportunity in that very quick change we're going to see in those homes and our housing that drives innovation in housing and will lead an innovation in housing across the nation. So as a major landholder in this city, I've been given cause to look at what impact we are having on the future for growth, for economic growth, growth in social cohesion, and the impact that we are having on everyday neighbourhoods around this city. And as a government, we're facing up to that historical responsibility that I spoke about before. We're facing up to the responsibility that we have to reshape this city away from the precincts of disadvantage and transform into neighbourhoods of hope, of creativity and of innovation. And that's what our $1 billion investment over the next 20 years, our Better Neighbourhoods Logan program transformation is all about. It's all about innovation. We're innovating the way that we connect and interact with the market to build our homes. And we used to issue tender, when we did those homes back with the Housing Commission, we used to issue a tender for cookie cutter, soon to be unsuitable homes, thousands at a time. This time we've gone to market with an innovative approach, and I want to spend some time talking about that. It's a program that was designed to deliver innovative houses, but it was also designed to be a program that was innovative in itself. We asked the market to come to us and show us how it can deliver innovation in the types of homes that can be built. So we're innovating in the way that we interact and engage with people who live in our homes. Instead of allocating them a place on an old queue, we deliver them a pathway, providing them a greater voice with more security and with increased opportunities to advance. So this innovation will allow us to revitalise a significant proportion of this city, building community and connection and contributing to the development of Logan as a smart city. So as I said, over the next 20 years, we'll invest $1 billion into that. We'll also be kicking in with $17 million a year worth of household maintenance and upgrades. That's a significant investment, but it's an investment that would be wasted unless we accept our role as a significant commercial actor here in Logan City. So with Better Neighbourhoods Logan, the Queensland Government has decided to place itself as a catalytic investor, supporting partnerships with developers and not-for-profits who can leverage off our investment. And to enable innovation, we've also designed our transactions so the state doesn't any longer push all of the risk onto those that we transact with. We're going to partner on bold ideas. We're going to put skin in the game and invest in our projects that used to seem too risky for government to get involved in. We're also going to diversify our partners so that new ideas can emerge, so that they can be tested, and that together with those partners we can make new discoveries, we can achieve new and creative ways of delivering housing. In terms of designing a new approach, there was clear feedback from the market that urban renewal projects often have come with significant barriers to entry in terms of costs and procurement. Industry asked us for a quicker, simpler system that allows projects to move from concept to transaction, and we've delivered that. So earlier this year, we ran what will be the first of many registration of interest processes, a quick 2-page application for people expressing interest. And as I look around the room, I see a couple of dozen proponents of that very program. We've moved very, very quickly to the expression of interest phase, giving prospective proponents the opportunity to express interest in their particular developments that suits their business model. You know what that means? That means extraordinary low costs in the planning phase, security of their IP, and meaningful interactions. So now we have 70 businesses and not-for-profits that are part of this process, and we are right now today preparing to sign off on transactions. The real innovation enabling us to move so quickly is that we're approaching redevelopment as a collection of precincts rather than as a city as a whole. And I just want to unpack that a little bit more. By taking this precinct by precinct approach, we're able to match the right typology of housing to the right neighbourhoods. And this will be seen in a number of ways as it emerges. Firstly, I want to make sure that the homes that we build don't look like the traditional housing that we used to build. I want our homes to be recognised as absolutely cutting edge. There's no reason why social and affordable homes for young renters or young homeowners needs to be designed differently so that it looks starkly less quality or starkly less innovative than the most contemporary of streets that we see in our cities. And for too long, that was our approach. These homes are going to be smart within themselves. We're placing a premium in these transactions on accessibility. We're placing a premium on making sure that these homes will cater for seniors and people with disability. And I'm also designed to make sure that these homes are equipped to enable people to manage their own security. Using technology like electronic gates, swipe cards and the like, a significant feature of modern developments, and you're going to see those throughout the projects that we deliver. Because that sort of security and accessibility enables places of collaboration that I spoke about before, it enables places of connection between your neighbours, and it provides a sense of security that makes a home feel like home. We've also got a duty to those who live in our homes in the future and to society in general to make these homes sustainable. And in Logan, we are currently today out to market for a trial of solar housing, solar rooftops for public housing. So the intent of that is not only to reduce emissions and energy costs for some of the lowest income earners in society, but most importantly it does this. It establishes public housing as a trial for how solar can work on rental households across the nation. There are real structural impediments to enabling solar rooftops on rental properties. Now, there are nearly 500,000 rental properties in Queensland and millions across the nation, and I am planning to eliminate those barriers to those households being able to access solar energy, and we're doing that through this trial. Through our trial, I want to demonstrate how solar and rental properties can work, and this nation-leading work is happening right here in Logan. It'll put this city at the forefront of renewable energy policy and innovation. Now, the Queensland Council of Social Services recently approached me to support such a trial, and I'm pleased to report that we are already well down that road. Secondly, when it comes to our precinct redevelopment, I want the built environment, as I said, to match the neighbourhoods. This is going to mean a mix of housing types, a mix of housing tenures, and the opportunity for mixed-use development to support ongoing jobs. Now, Mayor Luke Smith has been very keen in our discussions to make sure that better neighbourhoods reduces traditional concentrations of social housing. And this is an issue faced by cities right across the world. And so we're going to achieve that through our precinct by precinct approach. We're going to be able to mix public housing with affordable housing and housing on the private market premium stock that's going to be targeted to all of us, whether you're a first home buyer or somebody who's looking to invest. And to cater for this, we're encouraging different types of homes. So apartments, 2 and 3 bedroom homes. We're going to see townhouses and terrace homes are going to become features of these precincts across this great city. And in each developing precinct, we're encouraging proponents to match the plans to the surrounding area so things fit in. Developments like the one that you see here should assist, this one's down in Beenleigh, should assist the city becoming more productive, and we're going to do that by making it more walkable. I spent 40 minutes driving from Charlotte Park to get here this morning, and that's not too far away. We want to make sure that the future of where people live in this city is connected to transport-oriented developments in places like Beenleigh that are going to significantly benefit from the advent of Cross River Rail. Now, the future is indeed bright here in Logan, and so I want to return to why that's so. It's bright because of our people. We're innovating in the way that we engage with the people we live in our homes. Last week I launched a report called Logan Housing Options. You can find it on the web. This was a collaborative research report between University of Queensland, our partners Churches of Christ, and the Brisbane Housing Company. And for this report, the University of Queensland sent people out into the field, researchers out into the field in Logan, and did in-depth interviews with hundreds of elderly residents of Logan, and asked them what they'd like to see for the future of housing in this city. What were their future needs? And that's in stark contrast to what one of my predecessors did, which was to send them all a letter and tell them that if they had a spare bedroom that someone they didn't know was going to walk in, that they may have to move or share with a stranger. And that shocking approach was still recognised by those tenants 4 years later as something that they felt continually threatened by. Instead, I'm committed to make sure that we listen to people through our approach, through better neighbourhoods, that we give them the opportunity to experience what modern cutting-edge housing looks like instead of threatening their lifestyle. And at the other end of the housing spectrum, away from seniors, I know more than anyone that important, stable housing is important for young people. More than anything, stable housing determines your educational outcomes, whether or not you can get a job, and whether or not you fall into the criminal justice system. In Logan, we've for a long time supported an innovative, there you go. You started me off, yeah. An innovative Logan Youth Foyer. Now, this provides accommodation for young people who are homeless or at risk of homelessness. It helps them finish school, it helps them find a job and move on to a different life, a pathway away from the criminal justice system. It links them with education, job opportunities. It's why last week I was very pleased to announce that we're doubling the size of the Logan Youth Foyer. This is a leading initiative here in Logan. It's the first of its type in Queensland, and we're going to double the size of it. And there's more to come in that space with the state budget. And I'm running out of time. So I want to conclude. I was raised here in Logan. My mum and dad moved here when man was landing on the moon. They still live here, so do my wife's grandparents. I met my wife working at a supermarket down the road here. My kids are going to grow up here, and I hope they raise their kids here too. So I appreciate the mayor's and everybody's commitment to transforming Logan into a smart city. And I'm right here, I'm right there with all of you. Now, these days I spend far too much time away from home in my responsibility as a minister, far too much time in remote communities, building homes and ensuring other people have places to live. But I can hold my hand on my heart and tell you that no other city in Queensland is approaching innovation and transforming itself with the vigour and the determination that the City of Logan is. And I'm proud to be part of that through Better Neighbourhoods Logan. I'm proud to be able to get to play some small role in that transformation to making sure that Logan is a more connected city. The investment that we bring will provide a pipeline of jobs, which is really important, and that economic activity over the next 20 years. And by reshaping our neighbourhoods from those with a high concentration of ageing, homogenous, unsuitable housing into a new and better future, we will transform neighbourhoods into places where people can make those connections, where creativity can occur and genuine innovation will happen. And with this base, Logan will be able to embrace the smart technologies that will be talked about over the next 2 days. Cities are about people, and that is our focus. And I'm excited by the opportunities that are ahead of us. I'm excited about the commitments that we've made, and I'm excited that there are so many people willing to come on this journey with those of us that call Logan home. Can I congratulate the City of Logan leadership? Can I congratulate everybody who's committed to helping Logan innovate and become one of the smartest cities on the globe? Thank you.